So good morning. I'm Marylee Nunley, and for those of you watching this that may not know me, I am just an ordinary individual that was thrown an ordinary set of circumstances after my husband's stroke. And we started camps and other things, and so it's become my passion to support caregivers, to support survivors, and any individual who is kind of in that situation. So I'm not an expert on anything, but I have a lot of information about a lot of things. I've really had a lot of fun getting ready for today's presentation about baking soda. And yes, I know it's backwards because when you do the camera this way, it's backwards. So I haven't learned yet how to make that differently. And if I can't see myself, then I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do today is just go through a number of things about baking soda. The interesting thing is that I discovered there were over 100 different possibilities of ways to use baking soda. The information that I'm sharing today came from a website, thealternativedaily.com, and it has information about how to use so many things. So anyway, I'm just going to stumble through this. I have a lot of things sitting out here kind of behind the camera that I'm going to bring forth and go over a number of things that I thought would be fun to show that would be maybe the most likely things that I would use versus the things that aren't of as much interest being kind of sheltered at home and around the house. So, and all of you that are watching, if you've got friends, family that aren't on our United Stroke Alliance Facebook community, let them know. We've got weeks and weeks of plans out there for things to do, some fun things, some interesting things, some informational things. So we hope to keep this going for quite a little while. So the first thing I'm going to demonstrate this morning is making, and you might have to just look at my midsection here in a minute, is to make an all-purpose cleaner. And I made some of this yesterday to practice, and so I'm going to make this today. Now I just took this was a Windex cleaner, and I just took the label off of it so I wouldn't accidentally think it was Windex. And I've already made, for times purposes, I've already measured out a half a cup of vinegar. So I'm going to put the half a cup of vinegar in first. And then 2 tablespoons of baking soda. So I have my baking soda here in a little bowl so I don't have to mess with it. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the funnel. As you see, it's going to bubble a little bit. Do you remember those experiments we used to do? So you can see it's bubbling up as I get the rest of the soda in there. And then once you mix those two up a little bit and the bubbles go down, can you see that? Remember the volcanoes we used to make in science class? Then you just fill the bottle the rest of the way with water. And this way I can get my funnel cleaned out. And I hope I have enough water. There we go. And then this is a household cleaner. Now, of course, it's going to smell a little bit like vinegar, and if that bothers you, you can certainly add essential oil. So I'm going to put a few drops of lemon in there to make this a lemon, make this have a lemon fragrance to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's what they said. So now we have an all-purpose cleaner. You'll want to shake it up every time because it will settle just a little bit, so you want to shake it up every time. But this is good for surfaces, any table surfaces, walls, all around. And your vinegar does have a microbial, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, it'll help kill the microbes and so it will help disinfect in addition to clean. So you can use anything that's safe. They're very, very safe and all natural things. I discussed when I was reading all about this. So there's our cleaner. Baking soda is just sodium bicarbonate, and it's a natural substance in our environment, and it's very non-toxic and all of those wonderful things. And people get baking soda and baking powder mixed up. Baking powder has baking soda in it, but it also has either cream of tartar or sodium aluminum phosphate in it. And when it comes to baking, and that's why we have to measure, when it comes to baking, it's a chemical reaction, and it's a chemical leavening when it's mixed with those other ingredients. So they really shouldn't be substituted one for another when it comes to baking goods. And that's what I learned. So there. The next thing I'm going to do is, and I love this one, because I have cutting boards that slide into my counter. And I use them all the time because I'm short and they're at a better height. But I brought a portable cutting board that I have. And this, there we go. Cleaning and sanitizing your cutting boards. Take a half a lemon. Dip it in your baking soda or sprinkle baking soda on your surface. And you just simply scrub. It makes kind of a paste with the lemon juice, and it will kill germs. It'll get down in the cracks and crevices. I like to squeeze the juice just a little bit. Make a little bit of a paste. Once you've scrubbed it off really good, then it just needs to be rinsed, and it's all clean and sanitized. So that's my cutting board. Let's see what's next on my list. When it comes to sinks, you can just sprinkle and use it as a cleanser. Even though it has a little bit of grit to it, it's water soluble, so you're not going to scratch your sink or anything in using it that way. So anything that you want to clean, you can sprinkle some on, use a damp sponge. It also is good to soak your sponges in a little bowl of water with a tablespoon of soda to kind of get the odors out and to cleanse it a little bit. Our dishwashers sometimes get gunk and things in them, and a half a cup of baking soda and just run it through the rinse and drain cycle in your dishwasher will kind of help clean, sanitize, cut down on the funkiness that dishwashers can have. Now, when it comes to stoves and ovens and things, they say to make a paste, a 3-to-1 ratio paste. Oh dear. I've got to run away and get a little bit more water. I'll be right back. Hold on. That was fast. So the paste that you make, it asks you to put 3 tablespoons of baking soda. 1, 2, 3, to 1 tablespoon of water, and to mix that up and make it into a paste. And there's a number of things that this baking soda paste is recommended for. I'm going to get to several more of those here in a minute. It does make it into, so it's just like a sticky paste. For cleaning an oven, you might want twice this much. Rub this paste all around the greasy spots, and they say to leave it overnight, or at least 8 to 12 hours, and then come in and wash it. The same with like stove tops that are really, really bad. So the chemical action with the damp soda can do its magic. There's also another use for this, which is make it into a paste and use it on insect bites or bee stings. It will absorb some of the poison that's in your system. So that is another use for this. You can also make a significantly diluted version, like a nice bowl of water, or this bowl, and maybe a tablespoon of soda, make a more diluted, and you can dab it on sunburn with a cotton ball. Just dab it on with a cotton ball. Or also a cup of baking soda in a warm bath to soak in if you've got a sunburn. It will kind of help with that horrible sting. When outside grills, put this on your grill brush and brush it on the grill, and it will help to dissolve the gunk that gets on your outdoor grills. The patio furniture, same thing. Scrub your patio furniture with this. It helps to cut down on the mold and the mildew and that sort of thing. And then they also said when putting your patio furniture away, you can sprinkle it on your Sandy, I'm really not supposed to interrupt and talk, but Sandy said maybe white vinegar. I thought I had white vinegar and I didn't when I got in the cupboard. So yeah, I would use white vinegar in place of the dark vinegar. But you're absolutely right, didn't have that. So anyway, back to my patio furniture. So sprinkling it on dry on your patio furniture or your cushions when you store them away for the winter. Or if they're nice and dry and they've been in the sun, you can sprinkle it on and then dust it off or vacuum it off. It's kind of the same thing for sofas and chairs that kind of get we've sat in them, so we've been sitting in our sofas and chairs. I've been in on my sofa more this last month than I have since we've owned the furniture. But just sprinkling this on, I know it does come in like a container that's like cleanser, that you can sprinkle on, and that's a good way to use it when you just want to sprinkle it straight on. And I did both our love seat and our sofa last week when I was prepping for this with the soda, and then got the brush and vacuumed it all up, and that was a lot of fun. And it picked up the nap a little bit, and I just thought it smelled much fresher, even though there wasn't any scent in it. It just seemed like it kind of had a fresher smell. Okay, pests. I found this one quite fascinating, and it's a way to kill roaches. And you mix up let me see, equal parts sugar and baking soda, so like say a teaspoon of each, and put it in a milk jug lid, and put it in any inconspicuous place where you suspect there might be roaches, and then put another one with clear water next to it, and the roaches are attracted to the to the sugar that the baking soda is mixed with, but it makes them thirsty, so they hop over to the water, and when the water hits the sugar and soda in their stomach, it explodes and it kills them. So I'm not advocating killing, but just I thought that was quite fascinating. You can also dust your pets with it and brush that out. It's totally, completely harmless. You can dust their beds with it, and don't let them lay in it until you vacuumed it out. But it's good for pet odors and to get a little bit fresher smell for pets as well. In the bathroom, you can scrub your sink, your shower doors. It will help cut down on the lime buildup because it will react against the lime. And again, it's not going to scratch any of your surfaces because it actually dissolves when it gets with water, but it has a little bit of a grain when you first get started. So another thing that I did try yesterday, and I was amazed, and that is to clean your brushes and combs. So I just took a big glass of water, and it calls for a tablespoon into a cup, but I want to, and let me stir that up. Hi, Jay, we got somebody from California. Somebody sheltered in California. And then you just simply put I put my brush and comb, and then I set it off beside the sink and let it soak for about an hour. And I'm going to show you the end result, because this brush and comb were really bad. Sometimes we let our brushes and combs get really bad. And and I just took when I was done, I pulled the hair out, and then I just took kind of a brush that I use in the kitchen and went up and down. So my comb and brush came out sparkling, and I felt a little virtuous that I managed to do that, because that's not one of the things that I do often. Let's see, one more thing that I want to talk about, and this is making an air freshener out of things that you have at home. So I just have a regular little jar. I happen to have cellophane over it for demonstration purposes, but I poked holes in the lid. Nice, smooth, beautiful holes, can you tell? And then this is just the baking soda. And you decide whatever essential oils that you might have or can get around the house. So I decided to make this one citrusy. So it said for this amount, it's about 3/4 of a cup, that you want 10 to 12 drops. So I'm going to put 4 drops of each. 1, 2, 3, 4 drops of orange, 4 drops of tangerine, 4 drops of lime, and hey, let's put a couple drops of lemon just for the heck of it. And then I'm going to put this over it so that we can shake it, because that's how you activate the scent with all the soda. So they just shake it up really, really, really good so that the soda and the essential oils all blend. And then I take off my cellophane. Oh, that smells wonderful. And then it's just an air freshener, an all natural air freshener that you can set in your kitchen or wherever you want. And whatever fragrance you happen to have in essential oils is absolutely fine. So that is the homemade air freshener. So it also, the very same thing, if you want to freshen up your carpets, a couple of drops of essential oil in a container of probably this size of baking soda, and then sprinkle it all over your carpet, and they say let it sit 4 to 6 hours, or maybe even overnight, and vacuum it up, and it not only pulls up some of the musty smell and soil, it leaves a little bit of a fragrance. But you want to be careful that you use a minimal amount of essential oils so that it just dries up nicely. And so let me look at my list. I think I've just about covered everything.